In today's video, we discuss what happens to your body when you eat before bed. Roll the titles.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO, organic acid, stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video. Now, when most people think about spikes in blood sugar levels, they typically think about lots of sugary foods in the diet, and this is very well established. So if you eat lots of sugary foods without the presence of fiber, then obviously your blood sugar levels will spike very quickly. While many people understand this concept very well, not many people understand that the time of day that you're eating is equally important for controlling blood sugar levels, and let me explain. So all living beings, creatures, plants, fungi and bacteria follow a circadian rhythm. It determines the sleeping and feeding patterns of all different species. And as humans, we have a master circadian rhythm clock in our brain, as well as having circadian rhythm clocks in our gut bacteria, organs, and also our cells. There are clear patterns of brainwave activity, hormone production, cell regeneration, and other biological activities linked to this daily cycle. As stated, humans have predetermined clocks in our bodies that determine when our metabolism is most active, and this is determined predominantly by the light. So the sun comes up, our body clocks kick in, we eat when our metabolism is most active, and then we stop eating later in the day when our metabolism is not as active. Now, it doesn't matter whether you are diurnal or nocturnal, every species, plant, bacteria and fungus will have an external trigger that will kickstart their body clock, and then they will follow their own circadian rhythm. As such, there has been a lot of scientific research around time-restricted eating for humans and our own circadian rhythms. Now, time-restricted eating simply means that you eat in alignment with your body clock. People who practice time-restricted eating typically eat during an 8 to 12 hour daytime window and fast during the remaining 12 to 16 hours. Unlike intermittent fasting, which involves caloric restriction, time-restricted eating permits a person to eat as much as they want during the eating window. Now, as I said just now, time-restricted eating has two components, intermittent fasting and also a circadian component to it. So let me show you the science of what happens to your body when you eat outside of your body's circadian rhythm, because I think it will blow your mind. So your metabolism varies throughout the day and it doesn't just operate at the same speed. So if a healthy adult eats the same identical meal for breakfast, lunch and dinner, there would be a significant difference in their blood sugar levels in the aftermath of each of those meals. So effectively, your insulin sensitivity is lowest in the morning, so your blood sugar levels would be minimally elevated, compared to the evening meal where your insulin sensitivity is higher, and therefore you get a much greater elevation in your blood sugar levels. And this is very well established in the scientific literature. So let me just repeat that because it's really important. You can have the same identical meal 3 times a day, but there will be a significant difference in your blood sugar levels after each meal. For a while, this perplexed scientists, and they weren't sure why there was a significant difference after each meal. Then they delved into this further and established it was probably due to melatonin that was driving these changes. So melatonin is the hormone that regulates the sleep-wake cycle. So as long as you are not bathing yourself in blue lights before you go to bed, the pineal gland will start releasing melatonin approximately 3 hours before you go to sleep. Now, when melatonin is released, it binds to receptors in the pancreas that tells your body to stop producing insulin. So what do you think will happen if you eat a meal after your body has switched off your insulin production? So quite simply, your blood sugar levels are going to remain very high as the glucose is not getting taken up into the cells. So if you go to bed at 11 PM, your melatonin production will kick in around 8 to 9 PM on average, and some people it could be around 7 PM. Now, the studies surrounding melatonin and the pancreas receptors were born out of a discovery around a decade ago that showed that some obese people and diabetic people have a genetic mutation in their melatonin receptors. So quite simply, you want to stop eating 4 hours before you go to bed, because otherwise this could cause significant glucose elevations throughout the night that longer term could leave you susceptible to developing diabetes. Not only that, simply having high glucose levels during the night could also stimulate the bladder. So if you are someone who constantly wakes up during the night needing to urinate, then I would highly recommend avoiding all fluids and foods at least 4 hours before you go to bed. So I typically go to bed around 11 or 12, so this is why I avoid all foods and drinks after 7 p.m. And in fact, I generally eat between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. as this allows me to practice time-restricted eating so that I am eating around my body's body clocks. So that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out this one up here because I'm sure you'll find it equally interesting. And the only other thing that's left for me to say is to remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.